Hello, and welcome to round 2 of the Parenting Roundabout podcast. I'm Catherine Haleko, and I'm here with Terry Morrow.
Hello.
Usually on this podcast, we talk about parenting issues, but once a week, Terry and I like to get together to discuss TV, movies, books, and other entertainment topics, because it's nice to talk about something other than parenting for a change. So this week, we're continuing with Veronica Mars, Season 3, Episodes 8 and 9.
Is it over yet? Is it almost over? How many episodes are there, Catherine?
There's a lot, but Lord of the Pies was the first one, and I understand the title of that one because Pi is for Pi Sig, the fraternity, and that whole episode was about, anyway, one plot of that was about the Greek system getting potentially killed, but then I don't understand Spit and Eggs as the title of
I don't either, and I searched it online to see if it would come up in like the slang dictionary or something, and all that came up were, it's the 9th episode of the 3rd season of Veronica Mars. So, knowing our punny title makers, is there any expression that sort of rhymes with that or is similar? Is it supposed to be... I don't know. We may have to do more research, but I did not get it either.
Well, maybe next week when we listen to the Veronica Mars Investigations podcast, that's something they'll investigate.
That's right. We don't have to do the work. They'll do it for us. Right. We can wait a week. Starting with episode 8, Lord of the Pies. So this was the one that kind of centered, the case of the week was the new board member Selma Hurst Rose, played by Patty Hearst, who really sounded like she just didn't sound like she knew how to act. She sounded like it was, hey, we got Patty Hearst, is what she sounded like. Like, who cares if she can act? We won't give her that many lines. It'll be fine.
It turns out.
She'll get kidnapped. She'll disappear. And then we won't have to worry about whether she can act or not. I mean, she wasn't patently awful. She was just sort of not. Yeah. It was a stupid plot line. It was the casiest of case of the week type things.
Right. Because, of course, Veronica's interested because it has to do with Hearst and and her being the deciding vote on this, whether to kick the Greek system off campus. And I do enjoy how Dean O'Dell is like, all right, well, Keith Mars, he's the guy you got to call. He's like, has Keith on retainer at this point. Just
Did you notice,
whatever he needs.
Or was it just me? When the dean was talking to the sheriff, it seemed like neither of them had ever met before. Is this college not in Neptune? Would not everything that happened at the college be under Sheriff Lamb's?
Yeah, you would think.
I would think that they would have some sort of relationship.
Right.
Not like,
who's
this sheriff? What a dolt. And yes, while we agree, he's been an adult for how many years at this point?
Right.
Quite some time.
Many years at this point. Mm-hmm. You're right.
That was weird. I'm sorry. Proceed.
So that was the case of the week. And in the whole rape storyline, the one girl did fake it, Claire, that they've talked a little bit about in previous episodes. But apparently they were just trying to pin something on the fraternities, right?
Yes.
That's why she did that.
It seemed from that scene like Veronica was saying that all of the rapes were faked.
Right.
But then, of course, Mac's roommates wasn't. And then she goes on to keep investigating the rapist. I was very confused by that whole thing.
Yeah,
so it's just this little cadre of women faked it. But
just that one particular one. But you're right that they did sort of make it.
No, I think she was saying the other girl there had faked it also.
Oh, okay. But not all of them. Yeah, it was.
Yes, it didn't make sense because it didn't seem like it would be all of them. And so then when we get to the next episode, we can talk more about that plot. But the whole thing with Patty Hearst was that she disappeared and her husband, there was a whole story about people we're never going to see again. trying to get more money in a divorce and all of this. And the only character we've seen before is one of the sorority girls who is the dog walker and having an affair with the husband or just posed for the blackmail picture with the wife, or I sort of lost the thread of all of that stuff.
Yeah.
But I did sort of enjoy the moment where Patty Hearst, playing somebody who had done something wild in their youth, said, "You have no idea what it is to be a national laughingstock," and Keith kind of rolled his eyes. So it's like many layers there of plot in this show and meta.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like they did this episode just for that line.
Yeah.
And the rest of it, they just kind of built it around, we'll get Charles Shaughnessy here and we'll build some plot. It'll be fine. Right. But it was
and
lame.
You did have the dueling, like, assistance of
yes,
Patty Hearst's husband and her brother. They each had an assistant who were kind of amusing, the way that they were trying to work for their, perform their important tasks of assisting. So
yeah. And then I guess the sorority girl was the dog walker. And we've just had a dog walker in the news lately. They could have made a much more interesting plot if they, had somebody shoot her and grab the dogs.
Right.
But no.
Those dogs did get found.
They got found, yes. So we are speaking of Lady Gaga's dogs.
Lady Gaga's dogs.
Who are rescued, and the dog walker is in the hospital, but apparently going to be okay. But wow.
Yes.
Anyway, but we digress.
And the article the one that I read about that case said that those French bulldogs are, like, prone to being snatched.
Really?
So look out if you have one.
I specialize in dogs that nobody would want to snatch. Bring that dog to me.
Yes. I don't think anyone would snatch my dog. If they knew her, they would be like, no, you're good. I'm good.
I'll there may be days where I'm like, I'm leaving this dog unattended here in the front yard for a few minutes. Please don't snatch her. No.
Exactly. But anyway, so that was Lord of the Pies, pretty much.
Yes.
At the end of that one, they did shut down the fraternities, right? That was
they did, timing. But then did the dean open them up again in the next episode?
I believe it might have been in the next episode.
But also noteworthy in that first episode is how ticked I am that the previous episode ended with Keith and Logan tending to Veronica after Logan rescued her. And in this one, they're just... That should have meant something, and it didn't seem to mean anything. It seemed like just back to, Logan and Veronica are drifting apart. Ho-hum. And Keith knew she was roofied, but didn't know about the hair being cut and all this stuff. It just seemed kind of like... I wanted that to have more significance than it turned out having. And also... all these shots meaningful shots of the back of Veronica's head, where she was apparently disguising the part that had been shaved or cut or whatever.
Right.
Close up on her braids, close up on her ponytail, close up on, she had some sort of like bandana thingy on it that seemed very unconvincing. And all right, we get it. Okay, we remember.
Yeah.
It bugged me every scene to see, okay, what are they going to do with her hair now so we can be, ooh, she's hiding that patch.
Mm-hmm.
And then let's move on to the next episode so that I can have my little rant about that.
Yes. So the next episode, as we discussed before, Spit and Eggs, whatever that means, was packed.
And amongst all the other mysteries, some of which get solved, some of which don't get solved, are... when did Veronica get bangs? Seriously? What the H? I don't understand. She was like all the back to the braids and the ponytails and the stuff, and she had this traumatic hair injury and all that stuff, and suddenly she's got this banged and layered thing? What was that?
That was all part of the haircut that she needed after the shaving.
I guess, but
took place in the front of her, in the back of her head. Even.
Got some cases to solve, got some, just rapist. But first, I'm going to go get my hair cut with all these fancy layers and with the bangs. Those were significant bangs. Mm-hmm. I don't approve.
They were like breakup bangs, but they happened before the breakup.
Well, maybe that's why Logan said, Veronica, I've been through a lot with you, babe, but the bangs, I just can't.
That's a bridge too far.
Oh my goodness. What is it with the hair on this show this season? Mm-hmm. I don't remember the hair being a thing in previous seasons.
Yeah. I mean, does it all have to do with the fact that that's part of the rapist's MO is... Is Veronica supposed to be wearing wigs all through the year just for funsies? I don't know, but it's weird. Mm-hmm. All right. Also, second mystery that didn't get solved. Who made Veronica and Keith stupid? Did somebody put stupid in their water at their apartment? Did they not both make a lot of bad choices in that second episode? Yeah.
The dean's just going to drink it off. I'm just going to leave him here crazy drunk in his office. It'll be fine. Mm-hmm. Nothing bad could happen. And, Veronica just casually reveals to Keith this secret that she told the professor she wasn't going to run to tell anybody. Just what could possibly happen?
And then Keith is like, the rules. I have to tell him. I'm like, what rules? What?
He didn't ask you to investigate that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You were hired to investigate something different. You presented your findings, and that should be the end of it, right? I mean...
Yes.
I was like, what are these rules that I've never heard of before?
And Veronica, having been ambushed in a deserted parking garage, seems determined to put herself in as many deserted places as possible.
Yes.
Stop. Don't do that. And, what are you doing?
Why she went to Wallace and Piz's room when she knew that they went to the apartment to find this other girl that they thought was in trouble. She knew they weren't there, and that was before she got drugged.
Right.
So she should have known that they weren't going to be there. I don't... go outside.
Yes.
I don't understand.
And, and also, I don't know. I mean, I guess at the point at which she drank the tea, she thought that she was safe, but still, watch what you drink. Don't you have another one of those coasters in your pocket or something? I mean, I know you lost your purse, but could you just dip it in the tea before you drink it? Mm-hmm. Seriously. I just felt like they made quite a lot, father and daughter both, quite a lot of questionable decisions. But apparently, the rapes are solved now. 9 episodes into the season, so it did not, in fact, take the entire season. Too dang much of it, but...
Yeah, I don't quite understand the part about the alibi. I guess it was that Mo, just sort of got these girls, and they had been drugged, and they were, waiting for Mercer to come get them. When he was at the radio station?
I guess the tea distributor would put them in their rooms, and then Mercer would come later.
Yeah.
Ugh. That was a pretty awful scene when he thought he was talking to the girl that was drugged. Mm-hmm. Another stellar example of Neptune residents. Just how many evil sociopaths are there in this zip code? Honestly, that was some Aaron Eccles level garbage he was spewing.
And the way that he had Mo just so, the RA, Mo, just so completely under his thumb. The kid was just terrified of him.
Yes.
So, yeah.
But, not the brightest bulb. No. That guy. So, I thought Veronica was going to have to throw herself off the balcony. Was she, thinking of that, or just was going to hide outside?
I think she was thinking about it, but then she decided to try to hide in the closet. make them think she jumped out the window.
Yeah, I didn't quite get that, but that was all sort of nicely carried out there. Lots of menace. I could have done without the, 2 days earlier bit at the beginning where she's in peril, and then it's like, let's see how she got there, so that you had that sense of dread throughout the episode.
Right.
But
which I had with the one where she was almost attacked in the parking lot. Because, I had spoiled myself that was going to happen. And so the whole time I was like waiting and waiting and waiting for it to occur.
Yeah. Oh, that's miserable.
Yeah.
So then in other news, apparently we saw the dean go to the hotel with a gun.
Yeah. I think he was dreaming that part.
Oh.
I thought it was real at first, but then when he wakes up later, in his office, I thought that meant that he had dreamt that whole scene.
But we saw a scene of the two of them before he came to the door. But I guess he could have just been imagining that.
Right.
That's an interesting thought. I thought that he had actually...
You thought he went there, did that, and then came back to his office.
I thought he went there with a gun. I thought he told Keith he was going to stay there, and then Keith just left him. And then but you don't necessarily know what happened after he walked into the room.
Right.
Whether he did anything or not. But then later he's back in his office and somebody comes and does something to him. Unclear whether he's dead or...
Looked pretty dead.
Yeah. So
it looked like an old, like that.
It
had like sort of almost scabbed over his bullet hole.
Yeah,
that poor Weevil was about to find.
Yes, and hope nobody accuses Weevil.
I know.
They had such a nice relationship going over boxing.
That's right. Because suddenly Weevil is not just the handyman; he's the IT guy. He's like the cable guy as well.
But in addition to this second episode, Spittin' Eggs, having like 2 or 3 episodes worth of plot, they also suddenly looked at everybody's contract and said, "Oh crud, we made all these people regulars. We better show them every now and then." So Piz, hey Piz, Mac, I missed you so much.
Oh, it's Wallace.
It's Weevil. So
I did enjoy Wallace starting to push back on the like, all I am here for is to do favors for you.
Yeah.
That was nicely done.
Yes. It was, everybody got their like 2 or 3 cute lines and, got their credit for the, towards their season total. And, I enjoyed Mac had a t-shirt on that said, "Ask me about my STD." Yes. When she went to the terrible party.
To the frat party.
And sadly, it actually attracted somebody.
Right. And there was the breakup of, Veronica and Logan, which we mentioned, but we didn't get into too much yet.
Gotta break them up before you can bring them back together, Mm-hmm. It's just, you gotta break a few eggs, that's the title. But I just, Jason Dohring is such a master of that wounded little boy look that makes me think, oh my gosh, how can she break his heart again? Does she know what this kid has been through? What are you doing? He's just got that look down. Even though he's done a lot of bad things, still, look at that face.
Right. I mean, do we think we really know what happened in Mexico with him and Mercer?
Yeah, you know what? We never talked about that the last time because it didn't seem right to me. Because Mercer said to Veronica, Logan has a good reason for not telling you, which sounds like it's something to do with Logan.
Right.
But then the story Logan told had mostly to do with Mercer, and he just failed to do anything about it. I thought it was going to have something to do with his family in some way.
With Logan's family.
Yes, I thought it was going to have something to do with Logan's family, and that's why he didn't want to tell her, or something that would be upsetting to her about him, and not about Mercer doing something bad, and Logan just sort of didn't fix it. So, I wonder if there is another story there. which Mercer will now have the power to tell Veronica if he survives Logan being put in the same jail cell. That was kind of wonderful. Him just like taking a baseball bat to the police car.
Let me just beat the crap out of
what is he doing? And then you realize, is there only one jail cell in Neptune? Is that how it goes?
Well, he's been there a few times. He knows the lay of the land.
I guess so. Oh, Logan. He's just, I don't know. Veronica just, it was another one of the stupid things Veronica did during this episode.
Just to allow him to break up with her without even making
and to not answer his phone. Oh, that scene where he's standing there watching.
He's standing in the cafeteria watching her.
Just looking like you can hear the sound of his heart cracking open. I just excellent Lost Boy acting by Jason Dohring. Just Veronica, what's no. Just let him use the large man he has hired to protect you to protect you. Just say, man, just walk 20 paces behind me so people don't know you're with me. But if you see somebody do something, come crack their head open. See how helpful it would have been, right?
Totally.
He could have been down the hall when she was in Mercer's room, and when things started going bad, he could have just come and thrown him out the window. She's just not thinking, that girl. She's just not thinking. I mean, if there's any question to whether she's thinking or not, I say again, the bangs, the hairstyle. What the heck? And she was just also sort of like kind of manic-y. She just didn't seem very Veronica-y in that episode. She was all, this is what we're going to do. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. I'm going to find the rapist.
She was like way too cheery about how we're going to go to this frat party and find out who's drugging people.
Yes.
Like she's
just
like,
weird.
what a fun adventure. We're going to do this together. Like
suddenly she feels like she's in the Scooby Gang.
Yeah.
Exactly. It was just weird. And everybody just goes along. But
that we've seen before.
Yeah. And I mean, who could predict that Logan would go to protect her, would go charging off, and then they would find out it was someplace else. And she would go there alone because,
Of course.
I don't know.
Yeah, like 3 of them went to that place and she stayed at the... Or I don't know where Mac was.
She could have called her dad and told him where she was going. She could have... But no, she just likes those. Yeah. Well, I guess they did a little bit of psychoanalysis when they were breaking up, that she can't accept help and that she's, sort of
right. Well, that
fiercely
was why
independent to the point of endangering herself willfully.
That's why she stayed back at the party when Logan left, but that doesn't explain why she went by herself.
Well, I don't know.
I mean, it does.
I say again, psychoanalysis and a new place to live.
Yes, please.
Really. Why would not Keith at some point have said, we're moving away from here? Surely they need sheriffs at other places.
Yes.
I don't know. These Marses, they're not thinking things through right now. They're just not.
Well, next week... Zoe's Extraordinary Playlist is still on hiatus, so it will be episode 10 of Veronica Mars, season 3. It's called Show Me the Monkey.
Of course it is.
Plus Veronica Mars Investigations. Their title is Lord of the Spit Monkeys, because that's going to cover episodes 8, 9, and 10.
Yes, okay.
And that is going to be it for our round 2 today. Please subscribe to our Parenting Roundabout podcast so you won't miss any of our episodes. We have something new for you every weekday. As always, you'll find links, recaps, and an opportunity to comment on our website at parentingroundabout.com. Bye, Terry.
Bye, Catherine.
Bye, everyone.